On paper, this looks like another AI funding headline. $35 billion, 4 big names, something infrastructure. But if you actually read past the press release, and most people haven't, what happened in June 2026 is something the AI industry has genuinely never done before. And the reason it matters isn't the number, it's the structure behind it. This is not a funding round. Nobody bought equity in Anthropic. Nobody took a stake in the company's future earnings. What actually happened is that two of the world's largest private equity firms, Apollo and Blackstone, committed $35 billion to back Anthropic's compute expansion through Broadcom's custom chip platform. That is institutional debt financing for physical AI infrastructure. And the distinction between those two things matters more than anything else in this story. Here's the first thing to understand: what Anthropic actually bought. Because it isn't chips sitting in a warehouse waiting to be allocated. What Anthropic locked in is capacity. More than 1 gigawatt of compute capacity deployed at fluid-stack-operated data centers starting mid-2026. And the long-term ambition is not modest. 20 gigawatts of compute spread across multiple frontier AI labs, including OpenAI, by 2028. 20 gigawatts. Hold that number. Most coverage has no real framework for what it means at a practical level. And we are going to get there. What this deal means operationally is that Anthropic is not renting compute by the hour anymore. They are not competing for spot capacity on cloud platforms. They are locking in the physical substrate for training frontier models years in advance. That is a fundamentally different competitive posture. And it only works because of a company sitting at the center of all of this that almost nobody in mainstream tech coverage pays proper attention to. Let's talk about Broadcom. Most chip coverage focuses on NVIDIA. Understandable. NVIDIA dominates general-purpose GPU supply, and GPU supply has been the primary bottleneck for AI training. But Broadcom plays a completely different game. They do not sell general-purpose chips. What they do is co-design application-specific accelerators, called XPUs, and networking silicon, tuned precisely to the workload a specific lab needs to run. They have been making Google's Tensor processing unit since 2014. Most people just didn't notice. How significant has that quiet positioning become? In Q2 fiscal 2026, Broadcom's AI semiconductor revenue hit $10.8 billion, up 143% year over year. They guided the current quarter above $16 billion, representing more than 200% year-over-year growth. And Hock Tan stated on that earnings call that Broadcom has line of sight to exceed $100 billion in AI chip revenue in 2027. Here is the part that doesn't get enough attention: the networking silicon. At the scale Anthropic is training models, raw compute throughput isn't always the binding constraint. The speed at which chips communicate with each other is. When a cluster is coordinating tens of thousands of accelerators across a data center, the interconnect between them can be the difference between a training run that takes 6 months and one that takes 3. Broadcom designs custom networking silicon specifically to minimize that latency. That advantage is structural, not cosmetic. Broadcom has become a structural pillar of the AI race. The logic is straightforward. A chip engineered for one specific workload is more efficient than one engineered for everything. Meta signed a commitment exceeding 1 gigawatt with Broadcom in April 2026 for a multi-gigawatt rollout, now Anthropic. This is a pattern, not a coincidence. But the deeper shift, the one that actually changes the competitive math, isn't about which chips labs are running. It's about who is now financing them. And that is where this gets structurally important. What is the structural question? Not which chips win, but who finances the infrastructure, at what cost, and on what terms. Think about how highways, pipelines, and satellite networks get built. Not by the companies that use them, by institutional capital that finances construction against long-term contracted cash flows. The builders repay debt through predictable revenue streams over decades. That is project finance. And that is exactly what Apollo and Blackstone are applying to AI compute infrastructure. This matters because for the past several years, hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, have been self-funding the AI build-out through their own balance sheets. Combined capital expenditure for the 5 largest cloud providers went from roughly $240 billion in 2024 to more than $580 billion in 2026. About 75% of that 2026 figure went directly to AI infrastructure. These are not small numbers. But even trillion-dollar companies have balance sheet limits. Hyperscalers issued more than $100 billion in bonds in 2026 to finance capital expenditure that exceeded their combined free cash flow. Corporate bonds work when the borrower already has cash flow large enough to service them. Anthropic does not yet, not at the scale this infrastructure requires. That is exactly what makes institutional project finance the structural answer for labs in that position. The self-funding model is already straining at the top of the market. Now consider Anthropic's specific position. Microsoft funds Azure infrastructure because Azure generates the cash flow to service the debt. Amazon has AWS. Google has search advertising. These companies can carry that investment because they have revenue engines large enough to service it. Anthropic runs an AI research lab. The revenue model is still being built in parallel with the infrastructure. For a frontier lab in that position, institutional project finance isn't a preference. It is the only viable path to competing at hyperscaler compute scale. Apollo and Blackstone are financing physical infrastructure the same way pension funds finance toll roads, long-term, contracted, with cash flow assumptions baked into the underwriting. The U.S. private credit market stood at $3 trillion in early 2025, projected to reach $5 trillion by 2029. This deal signals that a meaningful fraction of that capital has found a new asset class, AI compute infrastructure, and that new asset class runs directly into a hard physical constraint that most coverage still underestimates. The energy problem is not abstract. Let's put actual numbers on it. According to Anthropic's own internal projections, cited by the Brookings Institution in April 2026, training a single frontier model could require 5 gigawatts of power by 2027. 5 gigawatts. That is the equivalent of 5 large nuclear power plants running simultaneously for one training run. Not one data center, one training run. The International Energy Agency estimates U.S. data center energy demand will increase 130% by 2030 compared to 2024 levels. Bloomberg NEF, in December 2025, revised its U.S. data center power demand forecast upward to 106 gigawatts by 2035, a 36% jump from their previous estimate, issued less than a year earlier. And in the PJM grid region, which covers roughly a quarter of U.S. electricity supply, data center capacity could reach 31 gigawatts by 2030. That nearly matches the EIA's projected 28.7 gigawatts of new electricity generation for the entire country over the same window. What does that actually mean? Data centers in one U.S. grid region could consume approximately as much new power as the entire country plans to generate. These are projections from energy agencies, not AI labs, with an obvious interest in talking up demand. This is why grid access commitments have quietly become premium assets in the AI infrastructure market. When Anthropic locks in compute capacity through Broadcom's platform at fluid-stack-operated data centers, they are not simply locking in chips. They are locking in power contracts. In a market where grid access is becoming the binding constraint on AI development, that is the actual competitive advantage being purchased. And it compounds over time as the grid becomes more constrained. Now let's name the 3 things this deal does not resolve, because they matter for understanding the risk sitting inside this structure. The first is concentration risk. Anthropic is now structurally committed to Broadcom's Silicon roadmap. If Broadcom's XPU platform encounters a technical setback, or if a competitor develops a meaningfully better custom architecture, Anthropic has limited ability to pivot. General-purpose GPU supply, for all its inefficiency, gives labs optionality. Custom silicon commitments at this scale do not. That trade-off is being made explicitly, with full knowledge of the constraint. The second is revenue. $35 billion in debt-financed infrastructure has to be serviced. The underlying assumption is that Anthropic can scale revenue to a level sufficient to carry that debt. OpenAI ended 2025 with approximately $20 billion in annual recurring revenue. Anthropic's current trajectory is not publicly verified at comparable levels. Enterprise API adoption is growing. Consumer products are in market. But the financing structure requires hitting revenue milestones on a timeline that aligns with the debt. That assumption may prove correct. Institutional credit investors model cash flows carefully. The question is, do those models hold against a market where competitors are also scaling and API pricing is compressing? The debt clock starts before the revenue model is fully proven. The third is regulatory. Concentrated AI infrastructure, controlled by a small number of private equity firms, chip designers, and frontier labs, will eventually attract scrutiny. The intersection of private credit markets, custom silicon dependencies, and critical digital infrastructure does not map cleanly onto any existing regulatory framework. Energy regulators are reviewing data center grid applications with new scrutiny. Competition authorities have started asking whether concentrated AI infrastructure represents a market structure problem. Which regulator has jurisdiction? That question is unresolved. The direction of regulatory pressure is not. Here is where this lands. The AI race has shifted, not subtly, structurally. The competition is no longer about who builds the best model in a research lab. It is about who controls the physical substrate, the custom silicon, the compute capacity, the power contracts, the long-term capital structure that makes training frontier models possible at all. Models still matter, but models run on infrastructure. And infrastructure is now being locked up through decade-scale commitments. The companies that win the next phase of this race will not necessarily be the ones with the best researchers or the most publicized funding rounds. They will be the ones that secured compute capacity, grid access, and custom silicon commitments, while the broader market was still debating which large language model scored highest on a benchmark. How long is that window open? Not indefinitely. And when it closes, the gap between those who moved early and those who didn't will not be recoverable on a short timeline. Anthropic made that bet in June 2026. Apollo and Blackstone made it with them. And Broadcom, quietly since 2014, has been building the tools that made the bet possible. Facts over fear.